the U.S. women's national team back in action, and we saw some scorching goals against the folks from Iceland.
Yeah.
3-1 last night. Emma Hayes continues to get entertaining performances out of this team.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there is talent here. A 19-year-old and Alyssa Thompson with an absolute banger for the first one. Everybody knows Jaden Shaw can play. We saw her actually do that. Had a bit of a star turn last year. We know that Sophia Smith is, world class on her best day, and maybe she's just hitting her prime. So after the Olympics, considering what Emma Hayes has to work with, all reasons to be very excited about the U.S. women's national team right now. And I love the fact that, Iceland did get on the board. That was also a very good goal. Do you have the name of the player? I mean,
I knew you were gonna do this to me. Those folks tuning into the show for the first time, a cottage part of this show is correcting.
No, I'm not correcting anything because I didn't say it because I'm trying, but it's Magnusdóttir. I don't think it's that hard. Like as Icelandic names go, Magnusdóttir is not a hard one, right? That's it's pretty phonetically simple for me to say Magnusdóttir, right? And what does that mean? That means Magnus's daughter, right? Like daughter of Magnus is what that means. Like literally,
that's poetically simple. I mean, that's from the land where I think 1 in every 7 residents is a writer. So it's not surprising.
Oh, interesting. Didn't know they were so literary over there in Iceland. Is that because they have so much? They have so many like hot springs and places to relax. It just makes the juices flow creatively, and they're writing a lot.
There's definitely lots of scenic vantage points to get very deep and thoughtful, and have like some writing montages are probably pretty easy to come by when you're.
I need to get there. I need to visit Iceland.
I was blown away. So the Cub Scouts. So my son is in Scouts, and we go to like the zoo or like the park a couple miles away. In the town up the way, we just heard that a Boy Scout group are going to Iceland for a hike.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
How much popcorn do you have to sell to make that trip?
Is that what they sell? The Boy Scouts sell? The Girl Scouts sell cookies and the Boy Scouts sell popcorn? Okay, yeah. Now I know. I wasn't much of a scout myself, so I don't have a lot of experience with it. This is not one of those games where you draw a whole lot of conclusions, right? Now, Iceland is not a disaster. They're 13th in the world in terms of FIFA ranking. Take that for what it is. The United States is supposed to win this game, and they did. They give up a good goal, and maybe you're a little annoyed that they couldn't keep the clean sheet. I'm sure Emma Hayes and her staff are going to be focused on something like that. Like, hey, why couldn't we keep a clean sheet? How do we allow her to sort of cut inside on that left foot and beat Alyssa Nair that way? Do we need to close down there? Is there something missing? And do we have a bad plan for that particular play? Those things might come up, but it for the most part, you've got to be thrilled that the U.S. women's national team looks this way coming out of the Olympics. And you mentioned this, or you mentioned this earlier before we came on the air. We had a debut in this game with Hal Hirschfeld coming on in the 72nd minute. There's some younger, newer faces. I would think Yasmin Ryan counts among those, who is not necessarily an established player. I mean, when you see some of the ways that Emma Hayes deployed this team to get players on the field, it is also a little bit fascinating, and I will leave that to close watchers of this team to give us a full breakdown of how this works, right? But you had in that front five, Mallory Swanson, Alyssa Thompson, Lindsay Horan, Rose Lavelle, and then Lynn Williams also playing in midfield, nominally speaking. I mean, who saw that one coming, right? And somebody tell me how much defensive work she did on the evening overall, because we're talking about a player who is certainly not usually deployed that way.
Yeah, I usually consider her kind of a straight line, get on the end of a long ball type of a player. So that is unusual. And when you listed those names, that's just an incredibly stacked, attacking list of players there. Pretty incredible what is, in the locker at the available to be chosen for Emma Hayes. And one thing about this performance I did want to highlight as well is that 3-1 looks like a comfortable victory, but it was 1-1 until the 85th minute when Jaden Shaw put the team on her back. I think what they used in commentary on the game where she goes through 2 or 3 defenders and then pokes it
Yeah.
through the goalie's legs.
Yeah.
I mean, that that is posterizing, if there's such a thing in soccer. And so there was it must have been some sort of pressure. They didn't let the game just fade out as a 1-1. And then Sophia Smith putting the exclamation mark with
it's a friendly. I mean, let's again, maybe you're a little concerned that it took 85 minutes for them to find the winner from Jayden Shaw. But you can be thrilled about Jayden Shaw and what she did to create that goal. I mean, like I said, it's a friendly. Emma Hayes made 5 changes. Iceland made all 6 of their available changes in a friendly, including 3 at halftime. So, it's one of those things, like, you just cannot draw a ton of value from analysis of that match. And we take the win and we salute Emma Hayes and we say, good on you, Alyssa Thompson, Jayden Shaw, Sophia Smith, and we move on.
The United States women's national team returns to action in this camp again on Sunday. They will face Iceland one more time, and then Wednesday take on Argentina. Long ball number 3 here for Friday.